Hi, this is a short video of the flooding that happened in Samm. We had an earlier video where we spoke about the fire and then the firemen coming in, and there was a bit of wetness to the walls and the floor, and then some more workmen came in, put in a fan, and then we had like 2 to 3 weeks full of dryness because of the industrial HEPA fan, right? So now, okay, what alludes to the rare event of catching fire and a lot of water, right? The firemen coming in and flooding caused by the damage, the water damage that was caused by the flooding. Here is the background to the flooding, right? So now notice that when we stayed in this house only for 3 months, okay, broke lease and took off, but here is 3 months worth of positive, negative, out of which, if you notice, the flood damage indicated is 43%. That's extremely high, right? It's like an impulse, right? Obviously, if this were happening quite a lot, then the place would be inundated, right? It would be filled with water. But 43% is very high. Look at the other ones. Quintessential block removal is 1.68. Illegitimate tenancy, short stay, these guys come in and go, which is 7th, which is work related. Illegitimate in the sense it's abnormal, right? Let's call it abnormal for the house. There's no illegitimacy. I mean, either you're a tenant or you're somebody who's not a tenant who comes abnormally into the house, right? That's 2.21%. Look at the rest of it. Reversal flooding, that constant fan and stuff at 7.93. But look at the flooding. It's 43%. That's very high, right? And it says that it's in the 8th house, meaning astrologically speaking, 8th house means it's not directly in the house, but house doesn't see it, right? Next we look at when. So look at 15th. 15th, there is no flooding, right? There is nothing, right? There is some quintessential block. There is workmen coming in and going. There were some moves happening. Drivers came in and out. Now next we go to the 16th. 16th, flooding damage starts. Right? I mean, it's indicated. I mean, I have a golden arrow indicating that. And then you notice how astrologically Mars and Mercury are enemies. And so there is sort of a conjunction. It's a 2-degree apart conjunction that happened on that day. So if you notice in the next day, 17th, right, there is flooding that's happening. It's a little higher power because if you notice the conjunction, it is 18 degrees and 18 degrees Mars and Mercury, which means Mercury is on top of Mars, meaning very close to Mars, and hence the power of Mars seems to have gone down quite a bit. Mars is heat, and if Mars goes down, then we know what's going on. But also notice there is this deity marked on the bottom left corner, right, of the house when we entered, right? From there, the 6th house owner and 8th house owner, this is both Venus and Moon, they are both debilitated. If you look at the left chart, you notice Moon is debilitated in Scorpio and Venus is debilitated in Virgo. So, but they are 6th and 8th owners. These are bad houses. So bad houses, when they debilitate, it actually is double negative, so it becomes a positive. So Venus exalts, Moon exalts. We know that Venus-Moon corner is where we show extra cool, air conditioning type, frozen type things, right? They are the coolness or cold bringers, right? So this thing, when this happens and the conjunction makes Mars lose power, then we've got some flooding that needs to happen. So on 17th, the 17th or around evening, colder than the day, this fire happened, and immediately the firemen came and they poured a lot of water on the property. So now let's go to 18th. The conjunction departed, and hence there is Mars is back a little bit up. There is no flooding anymore, and there is only illegitimate tenancy or short stay. This is abnormal people entering into the property, which I mentioned in the other video. So, but there is no flooding. All the water had been poured, and the fire was out. Now let's go and see. I placed the apartment in the center. You notice where the leaky window stuff is showing up, right? It is to the bottom left of the apartment, right? It's not in the apartment, but more so the next apartment. What you see is the building taken from a 90-degree rotated view. So look at the apartment there, right? And where the planter caught fire. There's a planter there, a couple of planters, and one of them caught fire. And that is exactly the position where the flood happened. Because, the fire was okay, there was some fire, but the firemen came and dumped a whole lot of water on the property at this place, right? Well, of course, from the previous video, we know that this wall, which is to the top left corner of the property, got a lot of water, and then we had to place this is a different corner, not the corner where the water fell, but this was another corner where the drainage had to happen. They don't correspond, but there was some water on this side, and it had to be like in the previous video. It had to be basically dried out by the fan and everything. So when we go back and summarize, the propensity of flooding is extremely high, and it is basically 15th there was nothing, 16th it came in, but the conjunction was off, so Mars was not down yet. But Venus and Moon were exalted. 6th and 8th owners being debilitated is equal to exalted. So then on 17th, the conjunction happened, Mars fell, and the flooding happened, extreme flooding happened. And 18th, it was gone. This happened in the house of Leo, and Mercury moved on, and there was no conjunction of anything with Mars except for Sun, which followed it. So this is how close Vastu Shastra explains to us what will happen to a property. If you see things like 43%, in the watt section, if you see something like 43, 50%, 60%, whatever, right? Those are very high counts. So you definitely have to go to the when and figure out when those negativities or doshams play a part, and you have to be very careful around those dates and you have to make arrangements. Thank you for listening.